Hi there, this is Colby Langford.
I'm Cody Batson.
And I'm Eric Jacobs.
We are with Coyote Control Specialists, and we are here today to show you how to hydro dip yourself at home.
We're going to make this video as exciting as possible.
And keep in mind that you get out of it what you put into it.
So sit back,
pay attention to detail,
and enjoy the show.
Included in the do-it-yourself Hydrographics dip kit, you will find Hydrographic Film Activator, airbrush propellant, clear coat, and your premium base coat, along with your airbrush sprayer and your hardener. You will also find a pair of rubber gloves along with your Hydrographics film, which in this case we chose the Predator camouflage. Next, you want to pick up a few things that you will find at a local grocery store. First, non-oil based paint thinner. Second, a thermometer to check the temperature of the water prior to dipping. Third, a roll of masking tape, preferably meant for painting use. Once you have all the tools laid out, you want to make sure that the item you are dipping is suitable for the hydrographics process. Remember, this item is being fully submerged underwater, so try to stay away from wood stocks and optics. We are going to be dipping 3 different synthetic stocks. If you do not know how to take apart the rifle, you can find the make and model generally on the barrel or on the reverse side of the open action. Generally, it's 2 to 3 screws on the bottom floor plate next to the trigger guard, and you want to make sure that the rifle is unloaded prior to disassembly, such as Eric's showing here. If you do not know how to disassemble your rifle, generally you can search the make and model on the internet or YouTube, and there's some pretty good step-by-step instructional videos out there on how to take apart each and every rifle. You want to disassemble the rifle as much as possible, or items that are being dipped. Once fully disassembled, you want to go through and sand with 120 grit sandpaper. We chose 120 because it was enough to rough up the surface, but it didn't leave deep grooves. You want to make sure that while sanding there are no minor imperfections or any flaws that will show over the hydrographic film once dipped. After you're finished thoroughly sanding the item, you want to go through and clean it with a paint thinner. It is very important that if you use a degreaser material, that you do not leave behind any oil material. This will also compromise the adhesion of the base coat. You can also use Dawn dish soap with water and a rag, or an ammonia-based glass cleaner. If you don't have these, then you can also just use water. Once you're finished cleaning, you want to mask off all surfaces that you do not want painted. As you can tell, we are ready to go. Now that all of our items are ready to be painted, we are going to mix the Hydrographics paint and the Hydrographics hardener. In this case, we are going to do 3 ounces of paint and 3/4 teaspoons of hardener. For every ounce of paint that you use, you want to use a 1/4 teaspoon of hardener. Just a side note, we did 3 ounces of paint and it was a little overkill for 3 stocks and a skull. Just an important side note, once the paint has been mixed with the hardener, it must be used within 30 minutes. Once you combine the contents, you must shake them thoroughly for 2 to 3 minutes. As you can tell here, Cody has demonstrated some very good shaking skills. Next, we will take the Hydrographic Sprayer and attach it to the airbrush propellant can. Once attached, you want to make sure that there is no air escaping from the can. You can either tighten or loosen the sprayer to do so. Once completed, you want to make sure that you have the proper spray tip in place for the base coat. For the base coat, we will be using a 0.6 mm spray tip. This kit comes with a 0.4 mm, a 0.6 mm, and a 0.8 mm. Once the paint is thoroughly mixed, screw on the paint canister onto the Hydrographic Sprayer. Once screwed on, make sure that the tip is getting plenty of paint through it. It is now ready to paint the items. There are several important things to keep in mind when painting your items. Stay 6 to 8 inches away from the surface. Spray in full, even passes. Try to avoid drips, and do not tip the sprayer more than 45 degrees. Be sure to thoroughly coat the entire surface, and even go back through and do a double coat if needed. If the sprayer tip begins to clog up, we found that if you detach the paint canister and insert the paint funnel down into some paint thinner and run paint thinner through the tip, it will eventually clear any clogs that you have. Also, if the airbrush propellant canister begins to get cold, it will also cause your paint to splatter. We recommend just letting it sit or warming it with your hands. We have now finished painting all items that will be dipped, but just in case, we are going back through and touching up everything. Let the base coat cure overnight or for at least 12 hours. Once finished with the hydrographic sprayer, we recommend filling the paint canister and cleaning it with a paint thinner along with the spray tips. If you have any large items to dip, we recommend doing a double dip process. To do so, you want to mask off half of the item, such as you see here. Once you have all items masked off, it is now time to get your hydrographics film ready. To do so, you want to roll out the film as it comes out of the roll. This is very important, otherwise it will not stick to the items when dipped. Right now we are masking off the hydrographics film. What you want to do is you want to fully frame in the item, leaving about 3 to 4 inches on each side. You want to make sure that this hydrographics film can fully wrap around the item that is being dipped. It is also very important to make sure there are no wrinkles in the hydrographics film when framing it in. This will show once you dip your item. We prepped all the hydrographic pieces for each item prior to dipping. This made it very easy once we started the dipping process. It is now time to get the water warmed and get ready for the dipping process. What we used here was just a Rubbermaid storage container, and all we did was take 5-gallon buckets of bath water. We're using bath water because you want the temperature of the water to be anywhere from 93 degrees to 97 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can see, we're getting very close to the desired temperatures. Once it hits 97 degrees, we will begin to dip. It is now time to lay your hydrographics film onto the water. It is very important to lay the middle in first and then let the edges fall. You do not want water to go over the top of the film. This will cause the film to sink. After letting the film sit in the water for 60 seconds, you want to spray it with the film activator. You want to do this in full passes. Really quickly, this is what you do not want to happen. We did not fully frame in this film with masking tape, therefore nothing is controlling where it expands to. This is what it should look like. After spraying the film with the film activator 2 to 3 times with even passes, it should begin to slightly expand. The masking tape is holding it in place so it does not expand too far, and as you can see, the film has a nice shiny look to it. This means that you are ready to dip. Now that the hydrographics film has been activated, it is time to dip your item. It is very important to dip at a 30-degree angle and be very steady. You do not want to be too slow and you do not want to go too fast. This took us several tries before we perfected it, and it is not easy. Once you pass through the film, you want to shake it underneath the film to make sure that no residue sticks to the item when pulling through.
After speaking with the professionals at HydroDip, we discovered that there were several things that we were doing incorrectly. Don't roll the item, stay at the same angle all the way through the water. Be sure that you use enough activator to where the film is glossy. Be sure that you're at a 30-degree angle. Because we used a thin plastic tub, the container got bowed outwards. If you're dipping a rifle stock, we recommend you use a metal or fiberglass container. Keep in mind that this is a do-it-yourself kit, so if you'd like professional results, we recommend seeing Todd and Scott Springer at HydroDip in Meridian, Idaho. Once the hydrographic film is applied, it is very important to spray it off with a light amount of pressure along with a misting nozzle. The activator leaves behind a slimy residue. Continue to spray until the residue is completely removed. Also, let the stock sit overnight before dipping the remaining side. On occasion, the hydrographics process will leave small areas that need to be touched up. As you can see, we took the hydrographics activator, filled up a metal can slightly. This needs to be metal, not plastic. And then you take your paintbrush, dipping it into the activator and applying it to the color that you would like to touch up on your rifle stock. The last stage of the dipping process is applying the clear coat. Combine the Hydrographics clear coat and the Hydrographics hardener in the sprayer mixing bottle. The hardener must be mixed with the clear coat in a ratio of 1 ounce of clear coat to 1 teaspoon of hardener. The combined content should be shaken or stirred thoroughly for 2 to 3 minutes. It is very important that once the hardener has been mixed with the clear coat, it must be used within 30 minutes. After applying the clear coat, let your item sit for 24 hours. Your item can then be reassembled and put into routine use. However, the item will not be fully cured and hardened for about 3 to 4 weeks. So be careful and have fun dipping. You can purchase your do-it-yourself dip kit at hydrodip.com, or you can contact them by phone at 208-288-1008. Thanks for watching with the CCS boys. Go ahead and give us a like on Facebook, a follow on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.